Steven Hillenburg wanted to create an animated series about an overly optimistic sponge. He compared the concepts of Laurel and Hardy and Pee Wee Herman. When he drew the character, he decided that a squeaky clean square, like a kitchen sponge, fits into the concept. The first concept sketch depicted a character wearing a red and green hat, white shirt, and tie. SpongeBob's appearance gradually changed. He began to wear brown pants, which were eventually used. It was decided that SpongeBob would become a childlike character, be a little silly and optimistic in the style created by the famous Jerry Lewis. In the original, the character wanted to be called Spongebob. SpongeBob was born on July 14, 1986. In the family of Margaret and Harold Squarepants. Like real sea sponges, SpongeBob began his life as a free-floating larva, as shown in The Secret Recipe and Granny. During this time, it had a spherical, amorphous shape. Even as an infant, he became friends with Patrick Sterry. When he was very young, SpongeBob sheltered Gary, as shown in the series Flakes and Plankton's Friend. Being older, he decided to move out from his parents and settle in Bikini Bottom. Not a single house suited him, except for the pineapple that fell on the Squidward flower bed from the ship. That's how he met Squidward. At some point, SpongeBob went to Mrs. Puff's boat management school. At one point, he made a roasting spatula out of toothpicks. He was preparing to become an employee at Krusty Krab. However, this name has already been used. This was changed after the first recording for the original 7-minute experiment. Recorded in 1997. Nickelodeon's legal department has revealed that this name is already being used for detergent. After this was revealed, Hillenburg decided that the character would still be called Sponge so that viewers would not confuse him with the Cheese Man. Hillenburg decided to use the name Spongebob. He chose Squarepants as his last name, as it marked the character's square shape and sounded nice. Despite the fact that SpongeBob's driver's license says that his birthday is July 14, 1986, which made the character 13 years old by the time of the official premiere on July 17, 1999, Hillenburg joked that he was still at the spongy age, English sponge years, even at 50. He explained that, in principle, SpongeBob does not have a specific age, although he is old enough to stand his ground and go to boat school. The decision to admit SpongeBob to the boat driving school was made in connection with Nickelodeon's request that the character attend school. Spongebob is a yellow square sponge. Although it looks like a kitchen sponge, it is actually a sea sponge. SpongeBob is wearing square brown pants that are paired with a white shirt, red tie, and black belt. He has white socks with a red and blue stripe. SpongeBob has a long, protruding nose that droops when he is sad. SpongeBob has 3 red freckles on his cheeks. 2 of SpongeBob's teeth come out, while all the others are inside. As befits marine sponges, SpongeBob has many green pores all over his body, namely 40 pores. As revealed in the series, not all that gold. Like most cartoon characters, SpongeBob has 4 fingers on his hands. SpongeBob has the ability to stretch body parts, change shape, separate some parts of the body, split into several parts, and each part will perform a specific task. An important ability of SpongeBob is regeneration. He can tear off his arm or leg, and they will grow back almost instantly. SpongeBob is an ignorant, abnormal, immature, funny, and hyperactive person with a carefree personality. He is extremely determined and often stops at nothing to complete a task. He is also somewhat dramatic for people who are kind to him. For example, for a postal fish. He is also overconfident. Sometimes, however, he shows his cunning side when he tries to reconcile Mr. Krabs and Plankton. Sometimes he makes mountains out of wormholes, for example. He loses his name badge. It is also suggested that he tricked the Strangler into an elaborate plot to bring him back to prison. Spongebob is very kind-hearted and innocent, and very rarely behaves openly cruelly towards anyone, even those who find him annoying and treat him cruelly. He is a very selfless and devoted person, especially towards his loved ones. His selfless nature is most evident in The Best Day, where he sacrifices his perfect day to help his friends. Despite his well-intentioned intentions, SpongeBob's actions often annoy and cause trouble to others, especially his next-door neighbor Squidward Tentacles. SpongeBob can easily get scared and usually panics when scared. He is afraid of the dark and clowns. He also hates hot sauce. Sometimes SpongeBob is too ignorant to notice the impending danger, and his unworldly thinking can endanger himself or others. He also cannot detect lies or malice as easily as other characters, mainly because of his naive nature. In A Friend for Gary, when Gary is violently attacked and almost eaten by Fuzzy, SpongeBob takes no action and instead accuses Gary of stalking him. Employee of the Month 145. SpongeBob and Squidward challenge each other in Best Employee of the Month. In addition, SpongeBob also goes to great lengths to impress others and achieve his goals, as seen in Marine Superman, and Bespectacled Man 2, where Bob mistakenly attacks an innocent atomic halibut to impress Marine Superman and Bespectacled Man. SpongeBob tries to steal Patrick's box in the secret box. He also tries to steal Betsy Crab's underwear, along with Patrick and Mr. Krabs in A Middle-Aged Crustacean. Prison, SpongeBob and Patrick force the secretary of the local bank to give them all their money. This was done in an attempt to get Mrs. Puff arrested and released from prison. In School Duty Officer, SpongeBob enters the window of a couple's house and disturbs them while on duty. In Something, SpongeBob and Patrick break into the zoo at night to free Stinky from his cage. At the Crab Deposit, he and Patrick break into the local bank at night to free Mr. Krabs from the safe. In The Big Snail Race, SpongeBob overexerts Gary as a method of preparing for the next snail race. This causes Gary extreme discomfort and eventually causes him to fall on his way to the finish line. However, SpongeBob eventually noticed this error in his behavior. In Best Employee of the Month, SpongeBob sets many traps for Squidward in an attempt to sabotage his Employee of the Month award. In Just One Bite, SpongeBob handcuffs himself to Squidward, forcing him to eat a Krabs Burger. In Shuffleboarding Champions, he and Patrick, dressed as Marine Superman and Bespectacled Man, respectively, walk around arresting citizens for actions that are not considered crimes, such as chewing gum too loudly and being too old. In SpongeBob's Last Line of Defense, SpongeBob and Patrick resist the construction of the Shell Superhighway and urge the rest of the city to join their protest with a song. The police eventually notice the friends and imprison them in an unknown place. However, on SpongeBob's part, he was arrested for playing the sitar without a license.